regardless of whether or not people agree with me or they think that I am too much to the left or anything like that. I have never been known to be somebody who minces words and does not tell people what he is thinking. And the other thing is, I saw an opportunity. I ran for this role not because, um, I thought that I'm perfect for it by any means. There's a lot of work that I have to do myself. But ultimately, when I saw there was a DNC executive committee meeting, and they were talking about why we lost. And the first thing that they brought up, our pollster brought up, Molly, was 18 to 29-year-old voters. And I looked around the room and I did not see a single person under 40. And I saw an opportunity, and there was nobody in this race running at the time under 30 years old at all. And I saw an opportunity for me to at least run and tell people what I thought they needed to hear rather than what they wanted to hear, like that stuff I said about President Biden, and hopefully make some form of change. And also not just be somebody on the outside that's talking about what's wrong with the party. It's about talking about what can we do differently to make a better party here. And I think that obviously we need to win back those working class voters. We also need to have our progressive base at the same time and not lose them. And I think I have credentials with them that can help bridge that kind of divide a little bit. And I understand, obviously, in some communities, if you're in a more competitive congressional district, somebody there may not be able to win if they're talking super actively, the way that somebody in a very Democratic district would be talking about guns. But it's to say that there's still a lot of work that we should be doing on firearms and gun violence that we aren't. Maybe you aren't in that district able to do a really out there vote on banning assault weapons, but that still doesn't mean that you shouldn't vote for something like universal background checks or vote for something like more research funding for the 2/3 of gun deaths that are suicides that disproportionately affect a lot of our more rural, more moderate districts that are predominantly Republican. And look, I know that I have a lot of detractors, obviously. I read my Twitter comments. But ultimately, the way that I won this race was talking to the people who disagreed with me most. There were a lot of people who did not think I had a chance at all that I talked to every day. And I called up and I put in the work and I put my head down and I picked up the phone and I called and I called and I called and I called. And I wanted to hear what people thought about how do we improve the Democratic Party. And some of the first endorsements that I had from statewide delegations were places like North Dakota, in other states that are not famous for being very, liberal bastions by any means at all. And part of the work that I want to do in this role is I actually don't even want to just go to moderate districts. I also want to go to deeply red areas that Democrats have not gone to in decades. Some of the, the poorest counties in America, for example, I would love to visit and talk to people there about what the Democratic Party can do to them to help them, even if it's an R plus 40 district, not because we're necessarily going to win that district, but because I want to make sure that people know that our party cares about everybody, even if they are not voting for us necessarily. And when I go out to those more red areas that are not just more red, but extremely red, I'm not risking, if we're in a district that's R plus 30 for Congress and I'm talking to Republicans there and Democrats, I'm not risking us losing the House because we're not going to win that seat. Right. And nobody else is going to go out and talk to those people. And that's part of what I want to do. I love talking to people that disagree with me most. It's part of the reason I joined the shooting club when I was in college. And to those detractors, I look forward to proving them wrong and showing them how I've done this work to talk to people and work to earn people's support along the way. I just want to humbly do the work, put my head down, and show people how Dems are delivering for every single community.